Moving on and shifting our focus, in a major setback for US President Donald Trump, the Supreme Court there has ruled that global tariffs imposed by him are illegal. The ruling invalidated his use of the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to impose tariff without any congressional approval. Now, as expected, Donald Trump criticized that decision, calling this deeply disappointing and saying that he was ashamed of certain members of the court. Well, this came as a major relief for several countries. Within hours of the Supreme Court judgment, Donald Trump has hit back. He has a plan B. He has signed an executive order imposing a 10% tariff on imports from all the countries, and this will come into effect from February 24th, that is 3 days from now. Listen in to what he said.
In order to protect, and it says so, in order to protect our country, a president can actually charge more tariffs than I was charging in the past period of a year under the various tariff authorities. So we can use other of the statutes, other of the tariff authorities, which have also been confirmed and are fully allowed. Therefore, effective immediately, all national security tariffs under Section 232 and existing Section 301 tariffs, they're existing, they're there, remain in place, fully in place, and in full force and effect. Today, I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122, over and above our normal tariffs already being charged. And we're also initiating several Section 301 and other investigations to protect our country from unfair trading practices of other countries and companies. Thank you for your attention to this matter, and I say quite simply, which I've said for a long time, make America great again. And interestingly, we've already made it great, so I don't have to use that, but I don't think we'll ever give up on MAGA. MAGA is always going to be with us.
And now back in India, politics has started over this entire matter. We are learning that a reaction has come in from the Congress party as far as the US ruling is a concern. A political firestorm that has erupted over the US Supreme Court striking down Donald Trump's tariff and India-US trade deal. After Supreme Court ruling, tariff on India has dropped down from 18% all the way down to 10%. But the Congress party has now launched an attack on the central government, calling this a total surrender by the Prime Minister. Let me take you through what Jairam Ramesh of the Congress party has posted on social media. They have said in crux that the government should have waited for 18 more days so that they would have paid less, not 18% but 10%. Let me take you through what he said. After the Supreme Court rejected the tariff policy yesterday, President Donald Trump said that Prime Minister Modi is his good friend. The India-US trade deal will continue as per the announcement. He had personally stopped Operation Sindoor. So these were the three claims that the Congress party has pointed out. Going on to say that on 2nd of Feb, President Donald Trump was the first one to announce that India-US trade deal had been finalized, and he stated that out of friendship and respect for Prime Minister Modi and at his request with immediate effect, we have reached an agreement. He goes on to say what exactly was the compulsion that made Prime Minister Modi ensure that it was President Trump who announced the India-US trade deal on the night of this. He goes on to say if Prime Minister had not been so desperate to protect his delicate image and had simply waited another 18 days, so that's a big claim that is coming from the Congress party, that in fact the government should have waited for another 18 days, they would have saved up on 18%. On that, let me go across to my colleague Rishabh, who's been tracking all the details. Rishabh, now a strong reaction that is coming from the Congress party after that Supreme Court ruling. They have attacked the central government, saying that this is a total surrender. The government should have waited for 18 more days, and by the time the tariff would have come down from 18 all the way to 10%. So what was the hurry is the question that the Congress party is asking. Take us through the details.
Well, the Supreme Court ruling that has come in from United States, no one knew. If anyone knew about this, Donald Trump would have taken steps otherwise as well ahead of the ruling. But now what we're given to understand, Congress party is attacking the central government that the deal was made in hurry and, interest of Indian farmers, interest of Indian, energy and others were compromised as well. These are the words coming in from Jairam Ramesh, Priyanka Chaturvedi and others. But having said that, the court ruling is not anticipated. One thing you need to understand, this court ruling that came in last night India time was not there for 2 times. For 2 times the bench assembled and did not pass any ruling. In a way, it was giving a signal that it might not come in the way of Donald Trump, the President of the United States. But now that the ruling has come in, yes, it has given ammunition to the opposition. But to, anticipate a court ruling, a foreign court ruling is something that one can hardly do. And that is something that the government is also saying here. It remains to be seen how things unfold. And also, having said that, this 10%, the tariff that has been brought down to 10%,
all right,
is also temporary. This will again go to Congress, and country-specific, tariff will be discussed in Congress. So 18% is something that India and US have been agreeing upon. Now, in the interim trade deal, if it goes to Congress as well for EPA, then it is something that the Congress will agree to or not agree to. Given that the Republicans are in majority in Congress, 18% is something that we believe that US tariff on India would be. And hence, this 150 days of buffer that we have got won't make that much of difference in the long term. And hence, the deal was definitely required between India and US, and that is something that the government also advocates.
All right, so the tariff on India has come down from 18% to 10%. And now, in simple words, in fact, the Congress party is asking, what was the hurry? Why did the government not wait for the Supreme Court ruling of the United States? Thank you so much for getting us all those details. Now, this is what P. Chidambaram of the Congress party has stated on that. He has said, and I quote, "I wrote in Sunday column on Feb 15 that if the Supreme Court struck down President's imposition of the tariff, the result will be that USA and India will revert to the status quo. Meanwhile, the US has extracted several concessions from India without conceding any. What will happen to those concessions? The joint statement announced zero tariff on many goods that US will export to India, and that India intends to import $500 billion worth of goods from US, that India will not buy Russia oil, and India will address a non-tariff barrier to US goods, and so on. What will happen to those promises? An Indian team is now in the US to finalize the text of the framework. So that's in fact the question that the Congress party is asking.